Hello, I am Zinfogel. Today we are checking out Lorelei Extreme Battle on the Take on Battles with Trainers from Different Regions event. Bit of a difficulty spike on this one, ain't it, Chief? Lorelei is not easy. Her team is built like a brick wall and she is very powerful. The biggest obstacle here is Psychic Terrain. Lorelei summons it as often as she can, and it turns her Slowbro into an abject demon. Under Psychic Terrain, Lorelei enjoys a power boost, as well as defensive passives and some recovery. Oh, with her teammates benefiting as well. Even outside of Psychic Terrain, Lorelei's team is quite strong. You have to endure powerful moves backed by attack and special attack raises. And as the cherry on top, Lorelei's team has Wise Entry ×2, which halves the power of special attacks. And she also has Endurance, which complicates endgame denials for a striker under Lonesome. So, how do you counter Lorelei? You don't? The problem is the Unova regional boost. The only Unova sync pair with the capacity to override Psychic Terrain is Classic Elisa, so there is a high likelihood you just cannot do anything about Psychic Terrain. Of course, you could resort to off-region pairs, but most get obliterated by Lorelei's initial attacks. To me, the best approach to this encounter is defeating Lorelei before she gets out of hand. And unfortunately, that demands a higher level of power that most free-to-play units are unable to achieve. In spite of that, you still require a solid defensive backbone, because Lorelei's physical sync move is very difficult to tank. And Lorelei barely mitigates defense reduction, so defense debuffs go a long way in improving your damage. If you took a team on a test drive through this fight, you might be wondering why is this battle so much more difficult than the other stages in this event? Well, if you allow me to rant for a bit, this stage initially released to embellish none other than Thunderbolt Red. Big red flag right there. And back then, this stage had a regional boost for all Kanto pairs as well as all electric types. There were plenty of options. But Unova? I don't get what DNA was thinking. Oh, Classic Elisa has electric terrain, we can just toss Unova this. No, that's not how this works. The whole rest of the region is unequipped to handle Lorelei. After testing, I came to the conclusion that a free-to-play lineup is untenable. I even tested Getsis plus Champion Red for that Ice Rebuff cohesion, but Lorelei hits so damn hard that pulling off a grinding strategy is very difficult. At a minimum, you need a 6-star EX striker or an advance of Rion Masterfair to pull this off. This just happens sometimes when DNA gets a little silly. Sorry. We're mostly looking at strikers with a high nuke output, so they can melt the sidemons as we focus damage onto Lorelei's Slowbro. The most accessible striker, in quotation marks, is Elisa and Striker. I think a non-EX 2-5 Elisa can manage the fight when backed by a powerful support like Champion Blue, but if you are working with lesser supports, she absolutely needs the 6-star EX 3-5 to stand a chance. OGN shares many traits with Elisa, with the advantage of innate piercing blows, which bypasses endurance and premonition too. 6-star EX 3-5 Hugh, Custom Emmet and Signasud Hilda are also legit. I also found 1-5 Signasud Hilbert to be very solid when paired with Champion Blue. The type rebuffs and Metal Sound allow him to muscle through Wise Entry ×2. After selecting a striker, you gotta think about how to survive Lorelei's attacks. Skyla is the most basic yet effective support Unova has to offer. Her defense buffs and potion will keep you nice and healthy. Springborg is a direct upgrade with special defense buffs to boot, and there are other good supports to consider like Fall Caitlyn and OG Hilbert. Once you pick the tank, you gotta think about a playstyle approach. Do you debuff Lorelei to make her easier to tank, or do you enhance your damage to end the fight sooner? If you are one of those lucky few who pulled Classic Elisa, she is a massive boon during this encounter. Her debuffs keep Lorelei in check, and she helps the party with special defense buffs as well as light screen. And then there is a whole host of debuffers that fall under Elisa's umbrella. People like Getsis, who helps the party with Noble Roar and Cold Snap 2. Champion Iris with Defense Crunch 2 is also really handy. Do consider Single Suit N or Anniversary N. But a particular standout is Colress. He debuffs the opposing team's defense at an unparalleled rate, and he can also buff the party's crit, which is very helpful for N archetypes. Oh, also Lenora would be pretty good, but who the hell has her? Now, going off Rion opens up the opportunity of clearing Lorelei's psychic terrain, but if Unova pairs struggle to tank Lorelei's attacks, you can imagine what's going to happen when you go off Rion, so you gotta make sure you get a bang for your buck. The given option is Thunderbolt Red. Honestly, you could just treat this fight as a standard Wrath of Rion, it wouldn't be much different. But do keep a Max Guard handy to tank Lorelei's Sync move. As far as recent overpowered pairs go, there is Champion Blue. He's absolutely incredible, but I think he wants the 3-5 grid for access to his debuffing tiles. Bogner is a cheaper electric terrain setter, but he has several defensive passives that help him stick around, like Electro Repulsion 3, First Aid 4, Shock Recovery 1. I also think Darak is a cute option because Feather Dance keeps Lorelei in check, and in case you are unaware, Defog removes terrains. There are other powerful Overian options I could tell you about, but these four in particular, they are likely to make the stage easier, at least relative to going for a full-on Unovan team. Alright, let's get the show rolling. For this example, I am going with Elisa as my striker. She's gotten a lot better since her grid expansion because critical I1 makes her relatively self-sufficient, which opens up support alternatives. We are going with her bestie, OG Skyla, who helps keep the party alive with potions. But then we have Lush Rosa. What the hell is Lush Rosa doing here when I did not even suggest her on the sync pair recommendations? There is one specific reason: endurance. Endurance allows you to pull off a very simple and consistent sequence. And amongst all Unovan endurance users, Rosa is the most helpful because she is a self-sufficient tech who debuffs defense. So I unironically think she's better than Colress, at least for this sequence, because she has meaningful offensive contributions. And if you remain unconvinced, which is totally fair, let me tell you the benefits of this Lush Rosa endurance approach. You don't have to quad Q, you don't need the 630X Skyla, and the only execution RNG is proccing a single potion with a Skyla. Well, give or take, depending on Skyla's potential, but you get the gist. Lush Rosa is looking kinda goated to me. Now, endurance is compulsory for Lush Rosa to do what she needs to do. If you cannot afford her 3-5 grid, you are better off looking at other utility alternatives like Colress or Getsis. So, Elisa has a standard nuking grid. I went for all the stand-fast tiles so she can spam Wild Charge liberally. Trainer move Fleet Feet helps just in case Skyla doesn't proc the trainer move point refresh 3 to maximize Elisa's speed. And you could also drop this bottom sinking tile in favor of X attack move point refresh 2, which would be better, but a 5-5 Elisa has the power to compensate. Skyla has a bog standard potion grid, although I dropped a staggering one because Lorelei is immune to flinching, so the passive is worthless. I instead transferred that energy for bulk tiles. But if you have the 630X Skyla, you want to grid Fanfare too, so she can top off Elisa and Lush Rosa's attack races. As for Lush Rosa, I went for a minimal grid, just to spare you the Sync Corps if you don't have any, but if you can afford it, you want to do something like this. Full on DPS, grabbing all the Razor Shell tiles, as well as Insult to Injury, which boosts Rosa's damage as much as possible. we're going to treat this as a standard encounter for the most part. As I mentioned, there aren't any major execution roadblocks. You don't have to quad Q, you only need the one potion, maybe more if your Skyla is a little low on potential. I am very confident in the consistency of this setup. Remember to queue 3 actions every round, or as many as you can. We are going to defeat Lorelei just in the nick of time with standard queuing, so don't miss any turns. If Lorelei flinches you, spam trainer moves, but you cannot lose the turns. If you have the 6-star EX Skyla, it's better to sync with her first, but I want to demonstrate that you don't need that much investment to clear this fight. Once Rosa and Elisa can engage their offense, remember to fix your rotation. You want Rosa to attack before Elisa, so Elisa can take advantage of Razor Shell debuffs. Also, I am using Elisa's trainer move right before her sync move is ready to capitalize on the sure crit property, and the extra healing means you will need less potions. And here comes this Pookie part. Lorelei rapidly increases her offensive stats and is soon to engage her second Psychic Terrain in volley. If you have spare potions, don't bother healing Rosa, it's pointless. Actually, it could be harmful, because you want to stay on power reserves for range. Skyla is fainting here no matter what you do. Tanking a boosted Psychic is too tall of an order, even for Skyla. Alright, and here comes the exciting part. The magic of Endurance. Endurance guarantees that Rosa tanks a couple instances of damage, regardless of how powerful they are. So we're using Rosa as a damage sponge to buy just a few more turns so Elisa can reach a tier sync move and clear the fight. Also know that I snook in and Razor Shell onto Starmie just to guarantee a knockout. It gets more chances to attack on their Psychic Terrain, which grants us some weird recovery healing. And there we go. I am super proud of this Lush Rosa strat. I am less proud of the fact that I couldn't find a more accessible sequence, but there is them apples. Don't do an insane investment just to clear an extreme battle. The reward is 300 gems, it's not worth losing a sleepover. But well, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching, take care, and I hope to see you another time.